So we're here today with Natacha.
Hi, everyone. Hi, Donavan.
So, and how do you pronounce your full name?
Natacha.
What's your last name and your?
Well, I'm married now, so it should be Berton Blanc, but it's kind of long and complicated. So it's just like Blanc, like Sauvignon Blanc, same thing.
Yes. Yeah, totally. Well, thank you for joining us today. And I just kind of wanted, it's many people know both of us that you work with us with Calciga Fit, and you work with us in several of the other properties. But even within all that, we haven't had a chance to talk much.
That's true.
So I think it's going to be, a learning experience for both of us.
Yeah.
And tell me a little bit about, because people are going to hear the accent. Tell me a little bit about where you grew up and what brought you to Cali.
Well, I grew up in south of France. Strong accent, I know. In a small city called Aix-en-Provence, very next to Marseille. So it's almost like French Riviera next to Italy. And yeah, it was a very nice childhood. I have a little sister. And after I started to dance, I'm gonna do the whole background picture.
Yeah, go. Let's do it. I want to.
Yeah. It was a lot of ballet dancing during my childhood, a lot of studying because both of my parents are teachers. So yeah, and
What do your parents teach?
My father teaches for teachers, so
Yeah.
he's a teacher of teachers. And my mother teaches, well, she's retired now, but she teaches to small kids. Yeah, like 8 years old. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Elementary school, yeah. And yeah, and from here, I started to study ballet south of France, and in Paris, I study art history at the same time. It was, like, how do you say that? A potpourri of everything.
Yeah.
And well, I had the chance to live in Italy for 1 year or two, so I speak fluent Italian. And after all that, at 22 years old, I met my husband in Paris on Valentine's Day.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right. Very romantic.
Romantic. Yeah. And I had to stop dancing more or less at the same time. It was getting really hard for me. I had a lot of injuries too. Mm-hmm. And it was really hard as a full-time job. So I wanted to focus myself on something else. I started to work in communication in Paris. And we moved in Singapore for a little bit more than 1 year. So we used to live there. Yeah, it was so different. So different from here, so different from France. It was a real like experience. Uh-huh. And we get back to Paris, and we went here in California for holidays. We had an amazing road trip from San Francisco to Los Angeles. We went to see Yosemite, Sequoia National Park, and we really fell in love with Napa Valley. So that's, the starting point of everything. My husband is working for a big French group. And 6 months after that, he had the opportunity to move in here. And so in 2 months, we just decided and we changed life. So yeah, from December, we got married in April and we were here in May. So yeah, it was.
Was that last year? What year was that? Was that last year?
2016.
Yeah. Oh, 2016. Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, it was, it's basically more or less everything. Yeah.
And so then what got you from communications to yoga?
Yoga, yeah. Well, my path with yoga is a pretty long life journey of practicing and rediscovering the practice too. I used to do some yoga when I was a ballet dancer, but to be honest, I really didn't like it because yeah, I know, because it was so different from what I was used to do, and I was so into ballet that nothing else were like interesting me. So after when I stopped doing ballet, I think I missed something. I missed like moving and walking with my body too. I couldn't like express myself in the way I was used to.
Yeah.
So yoga helped me a lot about this, and I think it helped me a lot during this transition, which was not easy. Like from one day to the other, you're not dancing anymore, and it's hard. It's pretty hard. It's hard for your body because you used to to dance like every day. It's a very hard training, like few hours a day, and well, now you're doing nothing. You're just seated, you're in front of a computer. So I think yoga helped me a lot physically and mentally about this. Yeah, I really discovered yoga at this point. I was practicing a lot in Paris, and moving in California was a perfect opportunity to deepen my practice. So I decided to take my teacher training here. Yeah.
Yeah. And when did you have, when you first started teaching, did you have any insecurities at all about the language and your accent and everything?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, you get me. Yes, I was pretty insecure about this during the whole teacher training, and because my English was not that good. I'm not saying it's perfect right now, but I'm trying so hard. I hope people can understand me. Yes, but I think the more I was teaching, the more comfortable I was. So I decided, just after my teacher training, I started to teach for a studio and after for Calistoga Fit, and it was pretty fast. So yeah, I think I didn't really have the time to ask myself a lot of questions. I knew I had to be good. So, I was listening to a lot of podcasts, yoga podcasts. I was watching a lot of YouTube videos and, scrolling my Instagram in English. So yeah, it helped me. Yeah.
Yeah. I kind of always wonder that. I mean, I admire people who have the ability to speak multiple languages, and I just wonder, you got the language barrier, but you also got the cultural barrier. What things that you kind of find from a cultural point of view that was the hardest for you to transition when you moved here?
You know what? It was pretty easy because American people, from what I've seen so far, are really welcoming and really, understanding. And so I was really well welcomed, and people didn't care about my accents. They were trying so hard to understand me at the beginning, and it was funny, but I don't know, it was not that hard, and European people and American people are pretty much, same codes, same way to live their lives.
Yeah.
Because I was living in Singapore, and over there it was really hard to communicate. So here, for me, the transition was easy. And apart from the things that you're eating like really early in the night, like you have dinner, I don't know what, like 6 p.m. For us, it's really hard. But apart from this, it was pretty easy. I'm really happy about it. Yeah, I feel lucky.
Yeah. And when you're teaching now, what about teaching kind of brings you joy?
Well, you know, in yoga, it's not about just the physical aspect and just the workout you can have from it. I think it's much more than that. And I have a lot of joy when I can see my students leaving the yoga room happy and relaxed, and seeing a real difference from this moment when they were entering into the class and the end of the class is just such a gift, because in 1 hour, sometimes less, everything can change. And having this and being able to give them some joy and some, I don't know, some relaxation is, I feel lucky too about this. Brings me so much joy. Yeah.
And so, like, looking ahead, so you kind of had the goal of becoming a yoga teacher, finding a way to turn your translate the ballet into a new thing, and you still are able to teach ballet. You do a ballet class for us. Now looking ahead, now that you've kind of gotten into it, and now how does it feel like to be the ins and outs of being a full-time instructor? Are you a full-time instructor, or do you do it? Yeah.
I teach from 2 classes to 4 classes a day. Usually I have no day off. I try to always, I don't know, have my Sunday, but it's pretty hard because if you have privates, it's, I like to teach. So, well, my typical day, it's a lot of driving, actually, going up and down in the valley. And I don't know, in the morning I can teach at Auberge du Soleil, but in the evening I'm teaching here in Napa. So it's a lot of driving. I can't complain. The road is beautiful and we live in a beautiful place. So it's kind of, it's when I was doing a lot of ballet, I was physically exhausted. Now I'm tired, but it's more like mentally, because you want to give your students so much, and sometimes it can be tiring too. So I have to give myself some moments of calm, and I like to meditate in the morning. So I get up really early, from 10 minutes to 30 minutes of meditation. That's my typical way to start the day with. And that's pretty all.
Let's ride off that meditation thing. So when did you start meditating? Give me the background.
I wasn't able to meditate for years. It's not an easy path. It's not an easy path at all. And we're launching very soon the 10-day meditation program on calisthography on demand, and I was really happy about it, because it's just 10 minutes. And when you're a beginner, when you want to find some calm in your life, when you want to start your day right, I think this is the best way to start with meditation. Just 10 minutes. Just give yourself 10 minutes a day to empty your mind and find some calmness. It was hard, I had to practice a lot, and yoga helped me, like the physical practice helped me. But I think, everything can be meditation. I'm sure when you're like teaching fitness, or when you're doing some exercises, you're only thinking about your body. You're not thinking about anything else. And this is meditation. This is concentration. Totally. So I think, even when we're doing yoga, when we're doing ballet, it's a kind of meditation, even if it's short.
Yeah, I mean, I do I've told the team, and I've done this where when the gym was open and we were, doing that um, is that I would kind of put my headphones on and then kind of just zone out and to kind of focus on my workout. And it was kind of a meditative piece for me.
Oh, yeah.
And then I would say cooking.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Me.
You
So
cook?
yes, I do most of the dinners. So I make the dinners.
Okay.
Yeah.
Jackie does the lunch.
So she does the lunch. She does the lunch stuff for the kids, and then on the weekend, like when we're going to cook a big meal, Jackie bakes. She's a baker.
Okay.
So his baking, she does that, and then when it's cooking, I'm kind of the one who is the go-to for that. So for that becomes meditative. I can kind of put on music, or I can put on a podcast and kind of zone out. And I'm chopping. I like to enjoy it.
Yeah, I think it's, sometimes people think like meditation is like sit onto a pillow, or, I don't know, on your mat and try to not move for half an hour. And it's not really this. It's like everyday moments you can find kind of a meditation. Yeah, you're completely right. Yeah. Even hiking, cooking,
totally.
Hiking.
Yeah. Especially around here when it's what we have and is available and the beauty that's here.
Yeah.
So now that you're kind of in this is a full-time thing, you're doing 2 to 4 classes a day. What is kind of your goals? What is the mantra? What is the thing that keeps you going? What feeds the soul there?
Yeah, I like to keep myself inspired, So I'm practicing yoga a lot. I'm still taking ballet classes a lot, like 2 classes, maybe 3 per week, sometimes just by myself. I have my little routine. And, when you're able to take classes with like great teachers too, it's what really keeps me inspired. And yeah, I think this is really like the soul of my practice, my own personal practice. And well, goals, I don't really know. It's more like a go with the flow thing, and especially right now during those crazy times, I like to give myself some movements, and it's okay. Let's see what's happened next. But the more I teach, the happier I am. So yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah.
That's a good sign. When you're teaching more and you're not getting tired of it, then that means that you're doing something you really love to do.
Yeah. And when I feel like, oh my God, I'm always, seeing the same thing or the same cues or, the same movements, I'm like, I have to take a class. I don't know, take some YouTube classes even, or just check Instagrams. I like, to create new poses, new yoga poses. I don't like the very conventional yoga. So sometimes it's nice to create with our bodies. So that's kind of things keep me inspired and able to teach too.
Do you have like a process when you're thinking about, okay, I want to try to do this new movement?
Yeah.
How does that process? Is there a process for you, or is it just kind of happen?
Well, when I want to do it or when I want to teach it, because that's
more in the sense when you're exploring yourself. Like, so I'll give you an example from my point of view.
Yeah.
So in some ways, the way my brain works, I could see a movement, and then that movement could give me an idea for 10 other movements. So I could see it and I'd be like, okay, if you tilt this way, or if you do this a little bit more, or if you do that, if you do this with the band, or if you do this without the band, you do this with a little bit of weight, what you do this on a TRX, like I can see 10 different iterations of that movement. So that's sometimes what the inspiration can become. Sometimes it just naturally comes in my head, but it's usually based off, I see one movement and then I can create 10 movements off of that movement. So like,
I think it's more or less the same thing. It's like, you know, in yoga we have like very precise poses you're supposed to hold, I don't know, for a few breaths or like, and sometimes when I see a nice variation, you know, I'm like, oh, I like this. I don't know, you can lift up a foot and everything's changes. Your balance is different, you're engaging different muscles, something in your shoulders is not the same, something like this. And as you, I'm gonna build on this. Okay, if I can lift my foot here, what can I do with my shoulders? I'm just taking examples, but you know, this kind of process too. And to arrive there, you know, because if it's like a very challenging pose, how can I warm up my body efficiently so I will not injure myself? Because there are a lot of injuries in yoga. People pushing themselves so much, and sometimes, you know, on Instagram and social media, it's all about those beautiful poses, but it's not really yoga. It's almost like contortionism.
yes.
Yeah. I think
that's right.
Yeah. Like those crazy back bends, you know, and those fit girls, like, oh, they're all like very lean and beautiful and everything is perfect and the background is perfect and there is a dog in the corner, you know, everything is just like, yeah, it's just like a dream. And sometimes I think yoga is not really this. It's such a hard work, and I think I'm a movement lover, so sometimes I draw my inspiration from more fitness workouts too. Because when you're teaching, for example, yoga fit, I'm teaching yoga fit on Friday mornings.
Yes.
I like to mix yoga with more fitness movements and bring some repetitions too, because I think key is the repetition. You can like just, you know, like do the perfect pose in just 1 second. It's you need to practice.
So the way you just said that, I could tell you did a lot of ballet.
Just the way I was.
You're like repetition. That I didn't take ballet, but that's what I hear.
Yeah.
So do you have any questions for me at all?
Yeah, because as we never had a chance to really talk, I just, you know, I noted some questions for you. I really wanted to know a little bit more about, you know, your fitness life journey before Calistoga Fit. What did you do? How it's, you know, you built such an amazing community, and at the same time it's a beautiful company because you're doing a lot of things. You have a gym, you have a yoga fitness studio, you have all those partnerships with the hotels, you have the on-demand platform on internet, so that's a lot. I really wanted to know, you know, all the journey towards that.
Yeah, I will say the thing that kind of got me into fitness and being a trainer, is two kind of advice things I got when I was younger. One was I knew I wanted to kind of get into this industry when I was in high school. I was our basketball team had a trainer to kind of get us ready for our senior season, or my senior season, and in doing that, I got stronger, I got faster, all the things that you kind of hope for as an athlete, and then our English teacher asked us to interview somebody who had a job that we thought was interesting. And so I decided to interview him, the trainer who was working with us, and found out I played baseball when I was in high school and college, and found out that he played baseball. He went to the University of Florida. I grew up in, I went to high school in Northern Virginia, really close to DC. So I found out through him, like he got his undergrad in kinesiology and exercise science, and he got his master's in exercise physiology. So I pretty much did the same thing. And
Okay.
I knew I kind of like, what's the roadmap? Tell me what the roadmap is.
Yeah.
I did that. And then I think what kind of came to the diversity of what our company is now, some of it came to the diversity of experiences I had. So while I was going to school for that, in essence, 6 years from undergrad to graduate school, I had, my jobs were working at like the hospital during the summer breaks, working as a telemetry tech, which is the person who watches the heart rates and stuff like that for the people in the cardiac ward, to cardiac rehab, to a sports performance center where I was training professional athletes, to when I was in graduate school, being a fitness director of a gym that had personal training, to being a recreation director of a medical school that had a satellite school in Atlanta when I was there for graduate school.
Okay.
So all of that kind of, you got medical, you got
that's a lot.
yeah, you got gym, you got that, and then I got recruited out here to work at Solage to start their program, and so that kind of took me into the hotel side of things, and so I really got to understand that part of it. And then when I was ready to do my own thing, my goal was to have a diverse type of offering and take advantage of what we had in the area and whatever we could do to make Napa Valley a kind of wellness and health destination. I know it's going to be second to wine and food, but long as it's a close second, that's what I wanted to try to do.
Wow. Wow, that's a great idea, because I think you're the only one to offer so many things, and to work with so many hotels and have such a nice ranges of classes too, because it comes from spin to yoga and to all those different workouts. Like I was seeing, I don't know, yesterday, like how like running tips or skiing tips. Yeah, I like that.
No, it's we're trying to just kind of be really well rounded, and I think obviously now most of our content is digital, it's through Zoom or through FaceTime or through social media or internet stuff, but we just want to be diverse to be able to, like, if we really I kind of think of it, look at the person, the instructor, the client, the member, the hotel guest, and serve them and see what their talent is as an instructor. And I wouldn't think to go into doing certain things, but if the instructor has that talent, I want them to be able to share that. So
speaking of this, I have a question. What are like the skills you're searching for a fitness yoga instructor for you? Just if you can give me your like perfect profile of a trainer. Yeah.
A perfect profile of a trainer. That's a good question. I think the number one thing is kind of, well, I'd say the top things that I care about before you even get to skill is warmth.
Okay.
And I would say just the personality, be able to connect with people. When you get in a room with people, when you're needed to be a leader, you can be a leader. When you're needed to be a listener, you're able to be a listener. And I would say that part and the ability to just kind of get along with people. I would say like that's the most important part. And then the second thing is consistency.
Mm-hmm.
So I've kind of told the team, you know, who worked with me, one of the things I pride myself on is just being there, just showing up. It's kind of saying the same things to my clients. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
you're going to get results even if you just show up, even if you can't give it all your all that day. Showing up and just kind of being there, because usually what happens is you actually will show up once you're there.
Yeah.
And so the consistency, and when you get to a point where people can rely on you, then that's when it's golden. They're going to work with you. They're going to cherish your skill. They're going to keep feeding your skill and give you more opportunity for that. And then when it comes to the skill portion, is the ability to be able to digest sometimes complicated movement or concepts and be able to translate it. I think translate is a good word for us right now.
Yeah.
So to be able to translate it in a way like you're doing in this interview, translate your life, is translated in a way where that person gets it. It sinks quickly. It sinks with ease and warmth, and and motivation.
Okay. Yeah.
So, yeah. So that I think that's kind of the way I kind of think of the person.
It is a great answer. It's a perfect answer. Yeah. 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 Thank you, Donavan. Yeah. I mean, you give me a lot to think about, you know, this translation and this commitment too. I totally agree. And yeah, the capacity to connect with people too.
Yeah.
And we're all different. So sometimes, you know, it's not about being just smiley and stuff like this. Really like deep connect with people. So they can trust you too, because at the end it's their bodies, and yeah, that's a lot for them. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I will kind of one thing too is that we're lucky in our industry where we're in an industry where people, when they're with us, is one of the few things where they're not on their phones.
Yeah.
And
that's true. Yeah.
So we in essence have an opportunity, and I've kind of tried to show this to the properties and the hotels that we work with, that we have they're putting out ads and they're trying to sell people to get here to this property and come here. And I'm like, you're going to underutilize us if you don't keep us involved with what's going on in the property, because we are naturally have an opportunity where we're in front of your guests, in front of people who have our undivided attention for that 45 minutes to an hour, whatever it might be. So, you know, I cherish that. I kind of, and how that goes. And one thing I would say as advice, my wife probably won't like that I'll say this, but I would suggest finding one day off. So maybe this quarantine is not the right timing for everything, but I would say as we progress out of this quarantine is find that at least one day. I kind of asked our team that work a lot with us, I make it kind of mandatory that they have at least one day. Because I think it's just even if it's just a recharge, I think one day for sure, and I encourage 2 days, but I can't say 2 days because I only take 1 day. So, I can't be too hypocritical, but I do take Sunday. For me, I have a couple of instructors, they might take a Tuesday or a Friday or Saturday, whatever that day might be for them. But I would encourage that down the road.
Okay. I will try to keep my Sundays off.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Any other questions?
That's pretty all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
you know, I'm glad we were able to have this talk and for you to join me today. And
Yeah.
you're right, we have a lot of things coming out on demand that you're going to be a part of. And one of those things being the meditation program, the 10-day meditation program, which I think we just started promoting that. And I'm very excited. And I'm going to give that meditation program a shot. So I'll follow back once I'll get started on it this weekend. And anything in terms of, I'll tag you when we're promoting this talk. Anything else you want to kind of bring to light for the people out there?
I mean, it's pretty old. We said everything. We're talking about my ballet class, yoga classes. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're all on Calciga Fit, and thank you again.
Thank you, Donavan. It was so nice to chat with you.